Can you hear me now? Nothing? Anything? Can you hear me now? This is my worst nightmare, man. No sound? Oh God. All right. Woo! Woo! Thank you, Mando. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh, hey, thank you so much, bro. Like I need you, bro. I need you around. I can't handle life without you, bro. Dominique, how you doing out there? How you doing? Mando helping me out. Hey, it's good to see you guys. You guys get a little upset when you don't get to get into my channel and that sort of thing, right? Hey, look, I found a coffee pot or a coffee pot. I found a coffee place that doesn't that doesn't like make me bend over. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I don't have to take it up the rear end. I don't. I found a place that's like appropriately priced. It took like several places to find, but here we are. Here we are. Yeah, so I hope you're doing well. We're gonna get into this stuff, right? I might go a little bit more than like usual because I got notes. Okay, I rewrote them again, because just because of all of the like the weird turns and stuff like that, right? I didn't need it to be like, you know what I mean, like a labyrinth. It didn't need to be like Maze Runner, right? It didn't need to be like Maze Runner. I didn't need to find anyone to like, you know what I mean? I didn't need that, right? So yeah, I was like, is it my iPod? Yeah. So we're good. All right, awesome. So hey, thanks for joining me. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're gonna get into this, right? Let me just take a little swig here. I'm trying to figure out a way to drink this, right? It has like a weird lid. You know how you get those coffees that have weird lids? This isn't what I'm used to. You got to pull that plastic flap up. What's that about? What's that about? Right? It feels weird to drink it. It feels like one of my kids' sippy cups or something. Come on. Anyway, yeah, let's get into this, okay? Summertime travel, right? We're all on the road, right? Appropriately, I'm in my wife's truck. I'm sitting here in a parking lot. I was trying to get good lighting, you know? How's the lighting out there, right? Um, I'm closer to home and that sort of thing. So I drop my kids off. You guys doing any camping or like you guys doing any of that? What's it called? Like there's they do summer camps and stuff, but it's not overnight camps. I guess those are thousands of dollars or something. This is more of like a drop off and then you pick up at the end of the day. So it's like a 6 hour event, right? Um, so yeah, I did that. My wife's sleeping. I'm gonna head home in a bit. But yeah, anyway, summertime travel. Happy July. Dominique, how you doing, buddy? Camping for 4th of July. You are nice. My family's going to the racetracks. I don't like anything about that statement. I don't. I don't like the racetracks. That means that it's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be crowded. It's gonna be expensive. It's going to be loud. I don't need anybody louder than me. Okay? Right? Come on. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Come on, right? So, anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah, so like summertime travel, right? Hot vehicles, right? You got to be careful of getting in those hot vehicles, folks, right? Like I park in a certain spot, right? And if I don't get shade or I'm not thinking about where the sun is in relation to the earth, I'm gonna I get in the car and then you get hit by that blast of heat, right? And suddenly you're like Sarah Connor in Terminator 2, right? She's hanging onto that fence. That's how you feel. That's how you feel in the summertime, right? James Cameron's Terminator 2. Remember that scene, right? When Sarah's hanging onto the fence? What's that about? Right? You get blasted by the heat and then you finally get inside, right? And you got to be like, you touch the steering wheel and you're like, you almost got to do like, you know what I mean? Like a little tap, right? You got to tap it sort of, right? You're like, oh my God, it's so hot. It's like touching a pan, right? And it's like it's hot, but then you touch it anyway just to see how hot it is, right? Um, it's like, where are my oven mitts? Where are my oven mitts, right? You got to crack the window, certain locations, right? You're afraid someone might break in or some mines play tricks on you, right? They're gonna take that hanger and they're gonna like loop it down and like pop up the car. They're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? They got their own vehicle, especially if you're in a well-to-do area, right? So yeah, like you know what I mean? So, and then the seats are hot, right? Like if you're not wearing pants or you don't have some sort of like covering or something, right? And you've got exposed skin, especially with leather seats, and it like burns you, you get like second to third degree burns on your legs. What's that about? Come on, right? Summertime. Enough already. Enough already. So, yeah, it's crazy, right? Um, and then like you get into the vehicles, right? And you're doing traveling and stuff, right? You're doing some traveling, right? And you know those rest stops that you go to, some of them are nicer than others, and you kind of have to like work your way to find which ones those are. But you go to those ones, right? Right? You go to those ones and they're like you go into these bathrooms, right? There's no doors or anything, which is good because I would get like a tetanus, I would get sick if I touched the door handle, right? And you go in there and you do your business or something, right? And it's like nasty, right? You don't even want to look at the bowl that you're going to urinate in. God forbid you got to sit down, right? Or you got kids or something, right? And you're trying to like figure that whole thing out, right? You're like clearing a room and and you know what I mean? Like you're a Navy SEAL and you've got to, you know what I mean? You got to go in there and you got to make sure like determine that the scene is safe, if you know what I mean. And then those rest stops and stuff, right? They don't even have like they don't even I'm stressing out here because I feel like my phone's gonna pop out of my mount. But all right, we're good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you're just like you're in there and you're like, oh my goodness, right? Like, like you do your business finally, and hopefully they restocked the bathroom tissue paper in there, right? And you gotta like reach in there to grab it, right? You gotta hook your hand up in there and you gotta pull it, right? You gotta kind of pull it down, and then it like you gotta pull one ply at a time, right? You're like, right? And then you take it, you wrap it around your hand, you do your business, you get the hell out of there. But you wash your hands, right? You're gonna wash your hands. Hopefully the freaking faucet works, right? Some faucets they don't work. You're like, do I have a wet wipe? Do I have options here? You almost got to bring in your own stuff, right? You got to bring in your own backpack and you got to have your own survival gear, like, you know what I mean? Like, God forbid you get cut or something in there, you get infected, right? You got to go to the hospital or something. So yeah, you just got to pull that stuff down, right? And then sometimes they don't even have mirrors, right? You can't, you know what I mean? They've got the faucet. It might work, it might not. And then you like try to dry your hands off, right? And that's a problem right there. Hey, Fizzy Fizz 903044. Hey, how you doing? I think you're new. Good to see you. I'm loud Italian, just expressing how I feel about the summertime and stuff, right? So it's good to see you. It's good to see you. How you doing out there? Dominique, I'm glad you're in. Mando, thank you. Yeah, let's keep it nice. Let's keep it professional you know, and we'll go from there, all right? Uh we're all good people here. So yeah, so like, you know what I mean? And those like paper towels and stuff like you might have, but they have to restock, and you're never there at the right time. And then you might get a paper towel or two, right? And there's like maybe one in there, right? In your hands, you're like, I wanted to use soap, and you can't use soap, right? And it's just a nightmare. But those other places are really nice, right? And then they have the options, right? They got the blower, right? And then they have the ones that you would pull like the paper towels down on, right? Like I wouldn't use the blower, especially the ones you put your hands in, right? Because then the water leaks in there, and that's actually like all the bad bacteria and stuff, right? Use the paper towel ones. When I do it, right, I'll take it and you kind of wave it, right? And I swear it like picks up on heart rate or something, right? If you're a little stressed or whatever, it's not going to pull down for you the right way. But you kind of wave at it, right? You know how you wave at it and it comes down. I do it one more time and I get it like a longer one, right? About a good foot, and then I'll dry off and then I'll throw in the basket, right? And that's how I'll handle that. So yeah, rest stops, right? I mean, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. I guess it's better than, dropping your pants and going in a field, right? I don't know how ladies do it. I don't. I really like the utility of being male, right? Because I don't know if I would have the patience. I don't think I'd be able to. I don't think I would be alive today if I was a female and I had female parts and stuff, right? I don't know, you know. I don't know. I'm barely hanging on as it is as a male, you know what I mean? So, here we are. It's good to see you guys. How you doing? Mando, Mad Fost, we got Faust, Dominique. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. So, yeah, so lane closures, right? Lane closures happen. Oh my goodness, the lane closures. Oh my God. What am I gonna say about the lane closures? Uh, yeah. So those lane closures happen. They're happening all over where I live. Are they happening where you live? Right? And like, what's up with those like lanes, those lane closures, right? Right? And they're like, and those guys they don't want to like really be there, right? They're not really into it, right? And you kind of wave to them, right? You kind of do a little, you know what I mean, like an acknowledgement, right? Like, hey, it's good to see you there. Yeah, and some of them wave back at you and other ones don't, right? You don't know if they're gonna like, you think they're gonna wave to you, but they're really scratching your nose, and it's like, what was that about, right? um yeah, and I'm like, the wave, waving to the workers, they're like, and what I would like is some diversity, right? Like, am I the only one thinking about this stuff? Probably, right? Otherwise, other people would probably be cutting YouTube stuff too. But yeah, like these lane closing the people and stuff, right? Male dominated, right? Probably like 28 to 34 or something, and you got the foremen that are older and stuff like that. But that's yeah, I'm trying to get, I love to have some females in there, female representation and like diversity, right? Would Baskin Robbins be able to survive if they were two flavors? No. There's 31 flavors at Baskin Robbins. You get variety. We like that. Diversity. That places wouldn't, ice cream shops and stuff, they wouldn't last if it was just two flavors. Two flavors. Come on. You got to have more than chocolate and vanilla. Am I right? Come on. YouTube. Come on, right? Um, yeah, and so like the broken roads and stuff too, right? What's going on with the broken roads? And I know some places are struggling. I get it. Everybody's struggling, right? You got 475 coffees and you've got gas that's like $8 a gallon now, $8 a gallon now. That's crazy. That's crazy. But here we are, you know? That's what they're paying. So, and those broken roads, right? Like it's some of them are like amusement park rides. You don't even have to go to an amusement park. You'll find one street, right? Those streets that are in your area, and you're going down the road and you're like, right? And you're like, right? And you're like back and forth, right? And it's like, oh my goodness, right? And then you're like, you feel like you've been violated when it was over, right? You're like, oh my God, what just happened to me? Do I need therapy? Do I need some therapy? What's going on? What's going on with that? Huh? What's going on with that, YouTube and the broken roads and stuff, right? Right? You're like, you're shaking and stuff. You're like on a roller coaster or something. What what's that about? I mean, am I right? Come on. How you doing, Maddie Faust? W8J, how you doing there? Fizzy, Dominique, Mondo, man, Dan, thank you, man, for helping with the technical difficulty. You're gonna extend my lifespan, man. Let me tell you, shoot. But you're the next best thing to having like like Tylenol, right? Antidepressants, whatever. So thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. And so yeah, and I'm like one lane roads on the switchbacks. Holy cow, right? Have you ever been on a switchback, right? On a switchback in those lanes that go like this, right? And you're loving the ambiance, right? You're feeling it. Maybe you're not driving, maybe you are. You're looking around, you're having a good time, right? Right, and then like there's no one behind you, there's no one in front of you, and then all of a sudden you wake up and there's like this big service vehicle in front of you, right? There's this big service vehicle in front of you, and you're like, is this guy gonna move out of the way, right? And it's just you and that other driver, right? And I'm like, and I know that they can see you, and they can see me seeing them, right? And I'm like, and I'm like, come on, are you gonna pull over? I'm like, maybe they're gonna pull over, right? Maybe they're gonna pull over, maybe they're gonna be nice, right? They're gonna be a good driver, right? And they're and they feel like they want to help that other person out, right? They want to do something good in their day, just one good thing, one good deed, good karma coming back, and they don't do that for you. There's like multiple areas that they can pull off, generous even, right? A generous area. Some of them are great areas to pull over, right? They have a good time if they did that, right? And I'm like, come on, pull over for me, right? And then then you notice, you look back, right? And I don't know where you guys look. Like, where do you look? Do you guys look up in that mirror ahead, like above you, right? Do you look to the side, right? Which one do you look like? When you're driving, right? And you're like, you're checking your mirrors and stuff, right? Like where do you even look? And then you find those vehicles that are popping up behind you, right? And you're like, I got to pull over because you're feeling that, like, that intensity, right? The like frustration from others, and it just kind of samples in on, like, you know what I mean? It kind of spills in on you, right? It kind of like floats in and hits you, right? And then you're like, man, I got to pull over. So you pull over and you let them go, and you get that relief, right? That like elation, and you feel good about that, and you let them pass, right? And you give them a good 30 to 45 seconds more of a cushion, right? And then you put your blinker on, at least I do, right? Put your blinker on, and then you know what I mean? You turn out, and then you start driving, right? And what's going on with the pinky? I don't know. My pinky is up. I find that like my pinky's up more often, right? I don't know. It's just kind of what I've been observing. How you doing, Braxton? Good to see you. Good to see you popping up in here. We're 21 minutes in, and I just got started. Um, but yeah, like, and honestly, one of the people, I told my wife I would talk about this, but I want to bring my father-in-law in this on this one, because he's inspired me actually to pull over. Nobody's more polite on the road than my father-in-law. My father-in-law, my wife's dad, greatest guy in the world, very, very selfless. He's getting up there in the age. He's got to have the earplugs in all the time. I think he sleeps with them too. But yeah, he's always pulling over for other road, like every chance, and he knows where they are too, because he used to work on roads for a living before he retired. And like he knows about that frustration. He was like the best foreman to ever work for. He would be getting up out of his truck, you know what I mean, and then making sure that his guys were taken care of, before him. And then like he would send his guys to go eat before he would eat, you know like he would take care, he would make sure that you're all right. And that's awesome. So I appreciate that. Rick, if you're watching this later, thank you, sir. You've inspired me. I'm pulling over too, and I had to add that in there. So Let's give it up for my my father-in-law, my one of the best uh, role models out there. I tell you, great guy, great guy. Um, yeah, and so I'm gonna transition from summertime travel into drive-in movie theaters. Right? You haven't gone to a drive-in movie theater? Do it. Right? I mean, they're not like they used to be, but the drive-in movie theaters, those drive-in movie theaters were like, you know what I mean? Like some of them need to be like landmark status, right? I know there's like one blockbuster out there, right? One blockbuster out there in like Bend, Oregon. And there's actually a documentary on Netflix, which is kind of funny. That's kind of funny because at one point when Blockbuster was big, right? And they were like dominating, Netflix was getting started and they wanted they would be laughed out of boardrooms and stuff. No one took Netflix seriously. Big mistake. Big mistake. Who's laughing now? Who has jobs at other places now? Right? So So yeah, hey, it's good to see you guys. Good to see you. Monzi Ramirez, I think you're new. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's hit those triple digits out, shall we? Let's get over 100 subscriptions. Let's go. Mando, where are we at, buddy? Let me know. Let me know. You're really good about that stuff. Hey, Fizzy Fizz, 193044. Cat Eye, thank you, Braxton. All you guys are hanging out in here. Awesome. Thank you. Let's live in. Yeah, I just ended up on the summertime travel. Now I'm talking about driving movies. Go to a drive-in movie theater, right? Like, I mean, I don't know how they are now, but I remember when we went to drive-in movie theaters as like kids and stuff, right? And like it would be dusty, you know what I mean? And they would be like the roads were kind of broken, right, and there'd be like faded lines. Like it used to be like a prominent parking lot. Now it's like kind of an abandoned one, right? That's where like skaters and stuff would go, right? But like, you know what I mean? And you get those parking lots that are broken, right? And then you have like that vegetation growing up out of it, right? That's just kind of that experience, right? You roll in there, you park, it's like a low budget, like big ass screen, right? And you couldn't quite see it, right? It'd be like faded a little bit, right? Because you have to wait for the sun to set before you're actually able to see the picture. And what I liked about it though is that they had cheap food, they had cheap drinks. Um, I'm pretty sure the parents were getting loaded or high in the back. I don't, and there's only like maybe 3 or 4 vehicles on that entire lot anyway, right? And then you would take that giant metal box, right, for sound, and then you would try to like put it on the side of your the window, right? And you would just kind of position it there, and then the sound would be way better, right? It was like pre Dolby Atmos sound, and then it would kind of like blow you back a little bit, and that's what kind of would bring you in there. But you weren't really watching the movie anyway. You were, you know what I mean? You'd be looking at other people to see what they were doing, right? No one would really be watching the movie. Like that was kind of like how people are now with the phones, right? And they're on their phones. And if I find myself on the phone more, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna turn the other thing off, right? And then watch it, right? So yeah, I'm like it was awesome. It was awesome. And now, right, even if there is a drive-in movie, they tune the radio into it. Tuning the radio into it. YouTube. No. No, we don't tune the YouTube. We don't tune the YouTube. We don't tune the frequency in to match, right? That's not what you do. Come on. What's that about? So, yeah. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got everyone in chat. Thank you for joining me, guys. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm Loud Italian. And I am doing reviews of how the channel is doing with you guys every Tuesday, and I want to cover that around 9:30 to 10. Okay. Last time I checked, the metrics was like 5.7K. Thank you guys. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sending out, like, for the first time, people like you guys out there, Braxton and Mando and all these other people, right? You guys are actually like semi, like, I don't know if you're, you're a little upset that you're, you know what I mean? Like you missed the live stream, right? I'm glad that you guys like are looking forward to this. Like, it's important to be consistent and stuff, right? And I'm not trying to let you down. I know things do happen. I do make mistakes and stuff, but man, like, um, what else? I wanted to kind of like check in with you guys and make sure that you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm doing and stuff. So just wanted to let you know. All right. Around that time. And so, uh, yeah. All right, so we covered summertime travel driving. We covered drive-in movie theaters, amusement parks. Okay, amusement parks. Wow. Um, anyone going to an amusement park this year? Anyone been to one yet? I mean, we're July 1st. Happy July 1st, YouTube. Yes, sir. Love being here, chilling. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good quality content, right? Hopefully, it's getting better. Let me know. Let me know, guys. Sound off in the chat below. It's good to see you. Apparently, guys, apparently certain individuals in the family, they're not a big fan of this when I do this. They don't really like that. Does that get in, like, does that bother you? Do you get hit by that in a different way? Does that, like, I feel confident, and I feel like it's a relaxed, like, flow state, it keeps things dynamic, and like I don't see a lot of people doing this anyway. I kind of borrowed it from someone that I know, and you know what I mean. It's like I kind of do it because I was like, oh, that's kind of new, that's kind of fresh. I like that. Like, does that bother you guys at all, or am I overthinking it? Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, amusement parks. You would drive for hours to get to amusement parks. Are so far away, right? And those car garages, forget about those car garages, YouTube. Those car garages are, yeah, but if I wasn't overthinking, I don't think I'd have a channel, right? Somebody has to worry. Somebody has to overthink, analyze, right? Get new content, new material, and be able to like package it up in a way and then serve it out to you, right? Somebody's got to do that, right? Anyway, so yeah, car garages, right? And they're concrete jungles, right? To be transparent with you, concrete, you know what I mean? And then you would try to park, right? And then you get those family sedans or the luxury vehicles taking too many spots, right? The luxury vehicles would be taking too many spots, and the minivans and stuff, right? The soccer vans and stuff, right? Which I don't have, right? I have like a four passenger vehicle. um yeah, and you couldn't fit in there, right? Because it would be like someone's taking a third of the next lane, two-thirds of the next lane, and like I can't get in there. And then you would finally find a spot, right? And you would try to like get in there, you know what I mean? And it's so tight that you feel yourself, like your shoulders moving forward, and you're like bending inward to park, right? And you finally park, right? And then you're like, how the hell am I going to get out of this vehicle, right? It ends up becoming like a real-time puzzle, right? A real-time puzzle, and you're trying to get out, and you're like, what are my options here? I don't have a sunroof. I can't open it up to climb out of the top, right? Moonroofs, I guess, right? You look up and you can see out, but you can't go in or out, right? And then you're trying to open up the door, right? And you kind of open up just a little bit, right? And then you slide out, you start with that big toe and you kind of slide out, you know what I mean? And you kind of fall out, You know what I mean? You just kind of fall out of your out of the seat, right? You kind of relax your body, so you know what I mean? Because then if any part of your body hits the door, it's going to knock into the next vehicle over, right? So, yeah, car garages. And then if you go with kids, right? You know what I mean? Like they're always going to try to jump up and touch the top, right? You know how you get those parts that kind of hang low, right? In those car garages that are low and you try to jump up and touch it, right? You know what I mean? We all try to do that stuff. Um, and then yeah, so yeah, the low overhangs and stuff, right? And let me tell you, car garages, you better make sure that you remember where you park, right? Because back in the day, if you didn't remember where you park, now you could take a screenshot of it with your phone, right? Or you would have someone that's like really, you know what I mean, like you would nominate the most like the smartest person, because a lot of couples, you know what I mean, they're like you need someone to help you get through life and stuff, right? And you need someone that's a little smarter than you are, so you can survive, and you're trying to remember, you're trying to remember where you park, and that other person has to remember, or you would have a notepad and a pen to write it down. Like that's what I would have. But yeah, like it's you didn't have Uber to be picked up and drive lap after lap, right? On floor after floor trying to find your spot, right? Right. Come on. Making a map. What is good time name for a state that is Florida and Texas connected? I you know what? I'm not sure about that. I'm actually thinking about getting like an Oxford World Atlas, right? So I get better at like locations and and maps and stuff. I find maps to be pretty interesting and I like them. So um, but yeah, like where else are we at? We're yeah, the car garages and stuff. So yeah, I mean, like you got to remember where you park, right? You got to have someone that's like one of the smarter ones in the group to remember where you park. Otherwise, it's like that Seinfeld episode when they're all trying to find their spot, right? And Elaine's fish is dying in her little plastic bag with the water in it, and then she's asking drivers to help. That's before Uber and all this stuff. You know what I mean? That's before you had a phone to screenshot your spot. Remember where you park, otherwise you're going to be spending quite a while trying to find your spot. And a lot of them a lot of them are like it's a labyrinth, right? It's a freaking maze. Suddenly it's like Maze Runner or something. Suddenly you're like Theseus in the labyrinth, and you're like, I don't have yarn. That's the only way that guy was able to do it. All the other warriors died in there when they went in, but he was able to take out the Minotaur, um, and then find his way out of the labyrinth because he actually tied like a string of yarn to his ankle, and he started with it being on the outside on like a rock, and he track himself back, and he was able to get out. So yeah, I mean, you gotta do something like that, right? So sometimes. Oh, shoot. I'm not sure what I did there. Um, I hope you guys don't see that. Do you guys see that? I don't know how I got rid of that. I don't know what I did to hit that, but you guys don't see the green background, do you? Oh, no, that's distracting, isn't it? Oh, wait. Ah, I'm sorry. Damn. What the hell happened? I touched something. I was just trying to move my mount here. I'm trying to turn this off. I'm sorry. Why does this stuff happen to me? Does anybody know how to turn this off? Mando, you know how to turn this off? Any of you guys? Do you guys even care that the background's there? You're probably not even looking at me anyway. You're probably just listening to me. Hopefully this isn't on your big screen. I don't know how to turn it off. Oh, you like it? All right, we'll leave it then. We'll leave it there for Dominique. Thank you. Thank you for turning a problem into a possibility, something positive. Thank you. So yeah, we'll uh we'll continue on, right? Yeah, the car garage yeah. So remember where you park, right? Moving on to crowds, lines, and making friends, right? Like when you got to an amusement park and you were like, you know, like you would have to make friends and stuff with someone in line, right? Yeah, I tried swiping to the screen to the left, but nothing happened there. Anyway, kind of look like a baby with hairs just kind of growing up here for the first time, right? Like a baby. But yeah, so like yeah, I accidentally made a mistake with that, but hey, here we are. It looks like Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob. That's great. So yeah, that's yeah, I guess the background matches you know, my weird and unusual behavior because the background has weird and unusual behavior. So here we are. Here we are. I so yeah, like you know, like when you would get to an amusement park and stuff, right? You would find, oh my god, I'm at 40 minutes. Holy cow. And I didn't even get to rides and stuff. Maybe I'll just cover a little bit more and do hotels and I'll end it there. I don't want to go more than an hour, guys, unless you guys don't mind. So I apologize for going over. Like this is 40 minutes and stuff, but this is some good stuff, right? Aren't most like comedies like an hour and a half, right? Like if you're gonna go to a comedy club or you're gonna go to like, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna watch something on Netflix, it's about an hour and a half anyway, right? Isn't that a thing? But anyway, like but I guess the most important thing is that you can hear me and see me and maybe disregard that green background, right? Um Honestly, I would probably want to have it like black or something out, but okay, cool. So yeah, I'm like, you know, like those days when you would go to an amusement park, you would actually go to an amusement park and then you would have someone that would like, you know, like you would designate a spot like that you would meet at later, right? So everyone can kind of break off and do their thing and then meet back at that time. And then you finally got back at that time and then that last person, there's always somebody that's late, right? There's always someone in that group that didn't quite hear it and they didn't have radios, right? Highly recommend the radio, right? Highly recommend, especially if you're going to be like with kids and stuff. Radios are great. Plus, you can actually teach them how to use the radio. I don't know if you have actually listened to civilians or like other people outside of military talk on radios, right? They say things that are unnecessary and they don't even know the phonetic alphabet, right? They say things like they're trying to list off of it, they're trying to list off a name or whatever, right? And they're like, A is in apple, B as in boy, no, alpha, bravo, right? So yeah, like that's funny, right? And those rides that you would go on, right? Those rides that you would go on, they would be like they were more fun up here, and then you finally got on the ride, and you're like it was over in a second anyway, and the most of the time you just spent in the you know what I mean, in line, right? Most of the time you just and that's where you got to have comfortable footwear, you know. You got to have comfortable footwear. And most people, when they go to the parks, right? I mean, if they're a certain age, right, they're going to wear those New Balance shoes and blue bottoms. You're going to get that. You're going to get those other people who wear the Crocs, right, with the socks, without the socks, the sandals, the people with the hammer toes, the dry feet, right? The ones that should have socks on them, hair growing up out of weird places of the foot, right? The older people who've got yellow nails, right? Who probably need to eat better, right? Because their feet are a reflection of their habits. I mean, come on, get your feet done, guy. You're able to get here, right? You're able to get here, and you're able to do that, the amusement park thing, and like pay, and it's expensive, and the gas, like, you know what I mean? You can go to a pedicure. You can stop on the way, right? Chances are the lady, you know what I mean, your wife or whatever, that anyone in the vehicle would want to do that anyway. So get it done together. Have a little family adventure, right? That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, and so, and then I wanted to touch on this, right? Like Universal Studios is good with this. Like, how they have those places that have like the escalators and the stairs. You know how the stairs are like in the middle, and then you have the escalators on, you know what I mean, the ones that you would just step on and then go. And those were so crowded, and then there would be like maybe one or two people on the stairs. I would be taking the stairs. I would get to the top before everyone else did. And I experimented with this too. Go to 10:30. Yeah, we're a little higher than that. We're 44 minutes in, and I'm trying to wrap it up with the amusement park, so I can talk about my last part, which is hotels. So yeah, like um yeah, so like, I would take the stairs. Your quads, your buns and stuff would burn, but you would get there ahead of time, and then you'd have to wait for the party that you were with, and like and when you get on that escalator, right? God forbid someone farts, right? And it's so tight that you can feel, like, you'd be able to feel a squeeze even if they were trying to just let it out slowly, right? Like you know what I mean? And then it would, and you know what I mean? And you just be like, what happened there? So I mean, I would take the stairs, but the escalators are like always too crowded, right? What's going on with that, YouTube? But thank you guys for being out here. I'm gonna cover one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go. I know we're 45 minutes in. Um, Parking lot's starting to fill up around me, and I gotta get back to the house to put away clothes and stuff. And then maybe stream a game. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, hotels, the best for last, okay? Hotels. Hotels. Way better than motels, let me tell you. I don't want to go to a motel. That's why most horror movies are filmed at a motel than a hotel. But hotels, let me tell you, like my kids, they treat the hotel like they're rock stars. Like they're gonna go in and they're gonna have fun and games, and the rock star, they're gonna trash the room, towels everywhere, treating the bathtub like some water park. And you can never have too many towels. You can never have too many towels, right? As a parent, when you have little ones, right? They're always using towels, right? They'll use one towel for each toe if they have to, you know and you know what I mean, like you maybe need like three or four towels if it's just like you're doing a couple thing. It's like you and your lady or whatever, right? You would go, and then like she would need more, right? She'd need one for her hair, her body, you know what I mean, maybe her feet or whatever, or like it's that time, right? And she's got to clean herself up. But then the guy would just like maybe use like one or two towels for his entire body, and that's it. But one of those things I love doing when I go to a hotel and I get that room key, is I gotta put it in there a few times, right? I want to make sure I got that down. And then when I open up that door and I see that, like, that do not disturb sign, right? And it's on the inside of the handle. I grab that as soon as I can, and I slap it on the outside of that door handle, making sure it's secure. Cause you know how there's a C clamp there, right? that C clamp and you just kind of put it on there. I love that, man. I love that. Do not disturb right away. Right away. And then I go into God, I wish I knew how to turn this thing off. It's bothering me now. It's bothering me. I'm bothered by that green background, guys. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. But hey, it happens, right? It happens. It happens. So, um, but yeah, like so when I go into a room, like I want to be surprised by the room. Like, what does this room look like? Where are the signs? Where are the beds going to be? Where are the plugins? Right? You get all that set up, right? We all have our own like method there, and we're all like unpacking, right? We unpack. Some of us don't unpack. Some of us like lay out the stuff on the chair, hang it up in the stuff, right? That's some fun stuff to do. Unpacking is always better than repacking, right? Talking a lot. My voice is getting fried. I'm wrapping it up pretty soon. I'm going to wrap it up in 60, okay? I'm going to be done with that. So we're covering a lot of good stuff. Oh my goodness, my car was freaking out on me, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. Otherwise, I'm going to burn out here as it's getting hot. Perfect for talking about summertime stuff, right? And then you would go to, yeah, like and one of those things that I love doing though, one of those things I love absolutely doing is like untucking the sheets, right? Because you know how it's like folded in there super tight. Like I'm not a fan of that. I want it untucked. I want it untucked, or I pull it out myself. Um, yeah, and then what I do is like when I like at the what I mean when I'm ready to go to bed for that night, right? Like cuz if you don't untuck, then you're like kicking it up and out, right? You're trying to kick it up and you're trying to make that thing, you know what I mean, to where there's like you can swirl around. I like that swirl. I like movement and stuff, right? Cuz I kind of move around a lot. And otherwise your feet are like this, right? You feel like you're like in a coffin, or like you're getting mummy wrapped. you know I want, or if it's so tight that you got your feet have to go like this, right? Ends up being like 180. Not a fan of that. So I untuck. Okay, gotta untuck. Big fan of the untuck. I'm a untuck then a tuck. um I don't know if you're a tuck or untuck, but let me know in the in the comments below. Thank you guys for joining me. In those bathrooms, right? One of those things that I do when I go to the bathroom, and I check the bathrooms, is I check the shower pressure. I check the shower pressure and whether they have those magnets on the inside of the curtain, right? And then if they're like they secure with their water, because I don't want water to spill out. My kids do that. I don't want to do that. And then I make sure that there's like like that non-slip mat, because I'm older now. And I don't want to slip in the bathtub. I don't want to slip in the bathtub. Falls happen, you get hurt. You get wrecked for life when you get older. When you're younger, you fall, you get back up again. But when you're older and you fall, you're done. You're done. When you're older, like when you get to a certain age, and that's kind of why I'm trying to stay, like my body doesn't betray me if I can help it. So I, balance, and like I worked out yesterday. I'm pretty sore, but yeah, like you want to work on that stuff, because lack of balance, falling, hurting, pain, right? And you can bruise. You end up turning into a old piece of fruit. You end up turning into an old piece of fruit, wrinkled, and you know what I mean. And there's like discolored, right? And you get like bruises easier and stuff, right? It's the talking. I'm talking a lot and I'm coughing, so apologies. I'm not sick. I'm just talking a lot. And it's getting really hot, so I need to end this. I need to end this in 8 minutes. So thank you so much for hanging out there, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out, and I'm glad that you guys are wanting more of this stuff. I'm Loud Italian. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll read chat at the end. I want to name off everyone that's been here in the chat. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and let's get over 100 subscriptions, okay? Apologies for that blue background, or the green background. I don't even know what color it is. Green background. Thank you. I appreciate you. Um, Hanging out but there for the gaming stream if it happens. Yeah. I more echoes of Einkrad. More echoes of Einkrad. I'm excited to play more of that. And check out SAO, Echoes of Einkrad, God, Sword Art Online anime, right? Because they do mention Kikuro in there, and I'm sure they're gonna mention Suna and stuff, right? And that's gonna be a nice like switch there. And it's not their story. It's like the character that you're playing, and you're building that. So I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna jump more into there and check out some more stuff. So if you want more of me in a different way, playing games or whatever, then that's gonna be a stream coming pretty soon. I got to get home and set that up and all that, but yeah. And so I wanted to end with when you're a parent, again, you know what I mean, those towels, right? Those towels are super important. You want as many as you can, as many as you can get, right? Otherwise you don't, there's like 8 towels and you're like, I don't need all these towels, right? But yeah, and I love checking the shower pressure, and I love flushing the toilet to see what am I working with here. You know what I mean? What situation do I need to be in when I drop my pants and I do my business, if you know what I mean, you know? So that's kind of where I want to that's kind of what I wanted to cover there. Um but yeah. And then let me tell you though, there's nothing like when you finally get home, right? You're driving or whatever, and you finally get home, and then like you end up unpacking later. You kind of break it down into like days or stages, right? And you just want to shower and relax, right? And you just kind of unplug, and you just kind of relax. You know what I mean? You kind of take it in. Nothing like it. Nothing like coming home. No place like home, right? Nothing like it. You know and that's what it's all about. You really appreciate home when you're away from it, but you don't appreciate it when you're there, if you know what I mean. Um, but I do love those hotels. I or the Airbnbs, bed and breakfast, right? Because and one of the things I love about that place is only because that they have those books that you can actually like write review, like you can write some stuff in there, like, hi, I'm so and so from blah blah blah, and I like this that. I like those feedbacks. I like how they have the options there to do that, and they have that nice booklet, that leather bound booklet, and you're able to write in there, right? Like you were a part of that story. That was awesome. That was awesome. I love that. Um, but yeah, no place like home. And that's it, chat. That's it, YouTube. Thank you so much. That's all of it. Um, Again, apologies for my voice. Apologies for the green background. I did not choose to do that. And earlier I had no sound. If it wasn't for Mando, I would, you know what I mean? Like I'd be talking to you for an hour and no one would be able to hear me. So I appreciate you. Thank you, Mando. Thank you, Dominic. I'm glad you were finally able to be here with us today, with me today. Appreciate you. Um, Thank you. We got some new ones in here. I know Braxton, he's been here before. Thank you. Unless it was another Braxton, which I apologize. Um, Thank you. Brylan Griffin, I think you're new here. Thank you, Cat Eye Forever. Oh, how old am I? I'm 44. Um, who else do we have? And Maddie Faust, thank you again for showing up. I believe I've seen you before. Yeah, all you guys. So thank you. I'm glad. Hopefully this stuff, you know what I mean, brought you some joy. It's 10:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. You can reach me most days 9:30 to 10. Maybe 10:30 because I do run off. I had a lot to cover today, but there's a lot of good material in there. I'm very excited and happy the way it turned out. Forgive the way it looks, but yeah. I did not want it to be like a Van Gogh painting behind me, but here we are, you know. Or like my kids are angry with me and they're like coloring from behind and around me because they want to black out the background because they want to like jab dad in the side, kids are, right? So yeah, so thank you for joining me. I'm Loud Italian. You can reach me here at YouTube/that Loud Italian. I stream most days, and then I'm going to be doing my reviews, my metrics and stuff, and review that with you. And I appreciate you. Thank you for taking a chance on my channel. Thank you guys for continuing to show up and show your support. I'm glad that you guys are liking this stuff. More stuff's coming. I'm excited. Um, and I'm doing notes. I'm hard at work. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do better. I don't want to waste your guys' time and nor mine. And I want to give you the best content possible, right? That's why I have this channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Thanks again, guys. And as always, like, this isn't goodbye to you. It's see you later, because goodbye is something you say to someone that you don't want to see again. To you, I say see you later. We'll put a pin in it and we'll circle back to next time, okay? Just like let continue the conversation to continue. So again, thank you. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, okay? Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your July 1st, baby. Woo!